board. And if you want to make any changes before we start. Okay, so good morning, everyone. As you can see, we only have 12 out of the 22. Could be Zoom issues, could be, as we saw, a time issue, but the official time for class is going to be Monday and Wednesday from 9 to 9:50. We used to meet Fridays as well, but as we go through the course, I'll explain why we no longer meet Fridays, and I give you these things called code listings to do instead of it. So I'm going to start by going to our D2L page, and as you can see here, this is the same kind of thing that you should be seeing. Up here at the top, you see a copy of the textbook. This is the book we used for CPS 121. This is the book that we also use for CPS 230. So if you're a comp-sci major, might be a book that you want to buy so that you can write in it, you can highlight it, you can do the whole Harry Potter Half-Blood Prince in it, so you have all the notes and highlights and what's important to you, so that you can keep it and have it as a future reference as a comp-sci person. Coming down the left side, we have these things called widgets. And if you come to the very bottom one, I put this up last week, actually 3 weeks ago, that we will be doing this stuff remotely. And as all of you folks have figured out, you're going to come over to this Zoom link and click on the Zoom link so that you can join in class every day. And that's what remote is, the actual meeting at certain times, in our case, Monday and Wednesday from 9 to 9:50. You have a nice calendar under this Zoom widget that you can open or close, however you want to do it. My view is slightly different than your view as a student view, so I'm not going to go into it, but you can if you'd like to. Coming up here, getting started video. For this class, the software we use is called JGrass. If you want to use something else because you're familiar with it, that's fine, as long as when you turn in your programs, you're turning in a .java program. Here is a video that you can go and download JGrass. It's one I found on YouTube that is not mine, but why make one when there's already one that exists? So do any of you already have JGrass or something to go along with it?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, okay. It is nice that it's free. And in the old days, they used to charge extra in the textbook to include a DVD that had JGrass on it that was actually free from a website. So fortunately, that is going away. A copy of the syllabus is right here. If you click on it, you should see, let me see if I can pull that screen up. Did it come up?
Yeah.
Yep, the syllabus is coming up.
No, you have to stop share screen.
I have to stop sharing and start sharing again. That's what I thought, but I thought I would give it a try. Now do you have it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, so this is our course. This is the syllabus. This is me. That's my office. Don't go there because 1, you won't be able to get in, and 2, I won't be there. Just like calling this phone number, I can actually get a message on my computer, but don't do that. Everything we can do is by Classroom or by email. And I've had 1 or 2 of you before, and I'm pretty good with emails. I keep after them right away. Of course, here's my email address, but you can find that back in D2L as well. But the syllabus is already here. So a bunch of information. I will be having office hours, and I'm going to give you more information in a day or two, but these are going to be my office hours, and I'll do them by way of Zoom, but what I'm going to have is a sign up so that I don't have 3 students jumping in at one time, while I'm helping another student, and it gets to be some kind of chaos. So I'm going to give you a schedule. I forget what it is. It'll be a link to something like sign up for free, something along those lines, or you can just email me. That usually works the best, but we had to put something official like this on our syllabus. We've already talked about the remote learning, the webcam. I'd like you to keep them on at all time, because when I can see faces, I can feed off of faces just like you would rather see my face than nothing at all when we're having discussions and different things. But like I said, when I record, and it's usually going to be mini lessons that I'll record and put on onto YouTube. Then, like I said, turn your video off if you want, change your name if you want. That option is available for everybody. But otherwise, I'd prefer you to have your cameras on. Just, it helps us all to get to know each other. Course description. Some of you eventually may transfer and they say, well, what did you do in that course? Well, Penn State Harrisburg knows, Shippensburg knows, a lot of these other places close by that are popular transfer schools know, but you may be going somewhere else that they're not familiar. And so you may be able to throw this out. You were all supposed to have passed 103 because there's a certain level of math ability you should have. And just like we already had a picture of the textbook, but here it is listed. Are there illegal downloads of it? If some of you wanted to find an illegal ebook, yeah. But like I said, if you're a comp-sci major, it's probably better to have the book. What are we doing in the course? Yada, yada, yada. You can read that on your own time. Grading policy, it's going to be all the points. It's a straight percentage, you know. Comp-sci and math are so closely related. I have degrees in both and, you know, they parallel. But it's the points you get divided by the total points. And what you see below is 971 points approximately. But there's going to be 7 online quizzes. I'll show you where they are eventually. 15 programming assignments. These things called code listings. We'll have 3 classroom tests and then a final exam. So that's where all your points are going to be. The 3 classroom exams, talk about those now. They're going to be given either a Monday or a Wednesday from 9 to 9:50. You'll log in. I'll give you a password, but I want you to all have your cameras on so I can help deter cheating a little bit. Even though I know it's going to go on, it's going to be a constant chess match. How can I keep you from cheating and wanting to do the best you can? But you know, I'll fight from my end. You folks will be college students and do what you need to do, and we'll go back and forth, but we'll figure it out. Any questions so far? Good. So basically, this talks about the quizzes and the tests. The 3 tests, if something catastrophic happens, you email me right away. I'll let you make a test up. I'll let you make one up, okay? I'm not one that is constantly looking to reschedule, partially because I have to sit here with you for that 50 minutes while you take that test. So if something does happen, you email me and I'll work with you and we'll figure something out, okay? The final, by default, is cumulative because it's on the last 2 chapters, but in order to do the last 2 chapters, you need all the chapters before that because this course just continually builds upon itself over and over and over again. The assignments, the code listings and the programs, do you think you're allowed to turn them in late? Just one person answer and we're good. No, thank you. Good. Yeah, let's get that out. Oh, my computer died at 11:58 p.m. on a Sunday night and I have to turn it into you Monday. Well, you should have started it a long time ago before that. And hopefully that'll be a good habits that you folks have. When you turn in programs, they have to compile and they have to run. I can't really grade a whole bunch of lines of gibberish. So one of the things that this brings out is you type in some code and make sure it compiles and save it. Then add a little more and add a little more. And with your programs, if you do like 50% of it, you can upload it. And then if you do another 75 and it's working, and you can upload that. And I'll grade the last one that you upload. And I'll show you where that's going to be in a minute. Code listings. If any of you looked in the book already, you saw there's blocks of programs and they're called code listings. You're going to have to submit code listings. You probably don't know what I'm talking about yet. You're going to type up exactly what's in the book. You're going to make sure it compiles and runs. And then if you do another 75 and it's working, you can upload and then you're going to upload it. Now, what's the benefit of that? Well, it's practice. It's like doing push-ups before a football game. You know, the weeks leading up to it, you're doing all this extra work to build you up for when it's time to do the program. Because almost all the programs come from bits or pieces of code listings. Other things that happen, you start to learn error messages. You know, you type something in, you get this error message, like, what is that? But you have exact code that you can go back and see where you screwed up. And you can start to learn so that when you're doing your actual programs, you'll go, oh, I saw that message before. And you can figure out from there how to fix your code. So this is something we used to do in class. And I'm like, I'm standing around waiting for everybody to type in code listings. Let's make a deal. No Friday class, but instead you'll have 5, 4, 6 code listings to type up almost every week. So that's why we don't meet Fridays, and it's a hybrid class. And now we don't meet in the classroom, so it's a remote hybrid class. Any questions so far? Okay, so the next thing here is academic dishonesty. Your work needs to be your work. You can read over it, but you can't be having someone else do your work. You can't submit the same program as somebody else. You can't go to Chegg or some of these other places. As you can see at the bottom here, this is a zero tolerance policy. I've had students who would cheat until I'd catch them. I'd give them a 0, and then they're like, okay, thanks for the 1 more. So basically I was telling everybody they could cheat once. Like, you know what, that doesn't really work so well. So I have a policy of, you know, if you're not asking for me for help, or you're not going to a tutor or any of those things, then if you're going to cheat, I can catch you. And I'll have 3 121 classes a semester, and I'll get anywhere from 2 to 5 that I'll catch cheating. Now, this is my 35th year, so I know how to catch people cheating. You know, I know y'all are smarter than me and slicker than me, and some of you will get away with it, but I'm pretty good. And like I said, I get 2 to 5 a semester out of 60 students, and they've never fought back after I said, you know, you're cheating, it's plagiarism, don't do it. And now, are you allowed to Google things to answer a question like, how do I do this to my code? Yeah, you can look stuff up, that's fine, but you just can't take entire programs. Tutoring, here's a link. If you need it, you can follow it. There should be ComSci tutors in there, so don't be afraid to check it out if you need to. Attendance, you know, like I said, I take attendance. I have an attendance sheet in front of me, and I noticed that there were 12 out of 22. We'll see if anybody else joined when we're done with all of this. But I keep track, and if you're starting to miss, I'm going to let you know. But most of the time, if you're missing, you're failing anyhow, and then you'll end up withdrawing. They make us put this in. Inclement weather. Like, seriously? So it may be like the East Coast gets shut down from a winter storm and everybody has power outages. You don't need to go here. You go to D2L, and I've already posted something and emailed something. But just to keep an eye on that, there is something that exists. I watch WGAL and they can tell me. Withdrawal. I have nothing to do with the withdrawal policy. It's set up by the school. It's out of my hands. So you folks can withdraw up to the 70% mark of the course. You go back into where you registered for the course, you can withdraw, and you know, sorry to hear that you did. And some of you will just disappear and I'll never even notice because I never get any messages or anything. Other information, like I said, I'm really quick with emails. Refund dates, some of you may be like, I'm getting the hell out of here today. You can click on there, and up to a certain point, you can get 100% back, and then another point, you can get 50% back of your tuition and so on. Anybody that needs accommodations, like you have paperwork set up from a doctor or so forth, here's a place that you can contact them through this link. They'll set up for, I get a lot of folks that need extended time or different things. So they're all listed there. another policy you can read over if you so choose. But you know, it's everything that's going on in the world right now other than coronavirus. And folks for you to cancel or contact for that. And first thing I want to point out is at the top it says course outline, tentative, subject to change. Yes, this is subject to change. I could get sick. Something could happen. I don't know what, but I don't take many sick days, and this is our schedule. We may go a little faster than this. Clearly, we can't go slower, but this is what we have to cover, and this is what the dates look like. There's the test and everything. Look pretty good? Questions up to this point? So what are we doing today? The syllabus? Yep. We're on D2L. Yep. We're going to talk about JGA. Let's go back to D2L. I'm going to share my, how many people do we have in here? Hang on a second. What are we up to? 9, still at 12. So we're missing 10 people. So it is good we're recording this. All right, let's go back to D2L, telling us in here. And I talked about, so one of the things you have to do tonight is get this JGrasp up and running. You may also have to update your Java development kit. But this video should help you out. If you have any questions, email me, or you can come up here to the top and put it on the discussion board. Maybe some other students will have the same kind of comments or questions, but here is the discussion board. I have a thread for Mac users because, yeah, we'll get some. I get maybe 1 or 2 a semester, but having someone else to talk to is going to be a big help. Once a program assignment due date is passed, this is my pay it forward. I got it. I feel pretty good. I submitted it. I got 20 out of 20. I'm going to post it so that somebody who didn't do so well on it might be able to look at it and ask you questions. Basically can learn from each other. And again, it's a pay it forward kind of thing. You're paying it forward to your classmates, but you're also paying it forward. You know, I get those emails at the end of every semester that say, hey, professor, I have an 89.1%. Can I do any extra work to get the A? And no, I don't really do extra credit that way, because if I give a little bit to you, then I have to offer it to everybody. And then somebody's going to want a little more than that. Somebody's going to want a little more than that. But I might look and say, oh, you know what? They did pay it forward to the class. They participated in class. So it's that unofficial, you know, who's helping everybody else out? Yeah, you deserve the A because of all the things you did above and beyond. Below you see the discussion board. Pick a chapter, throw a question up, throw a comment, throw a website up. Hey, I just found this great website for Java tutorials. Post it, you know, and help everybody out. Okay, that's under the discussion board. Go back to the course home. Course home is where we started. It's this page that has the picture of the book. Checklist. Some people are really organized and like to keep track of everything they do and go through. So let's pick chapter 3. Again, yours is going to look different than mine because I have my view and so on. So under chapter 3, here's what I suggest you do in the book. You don't have to, you have to get a feel for what you're comfortable with. What do you need to read? Well, some people's reading is other people's skimming and highlighting, is other people's read and reread and so on. So from the book, here's some things that I think are valuable for you to play around with. And if you need more, here's more to do. Assignments and code listings. So say you get ready and say, oh, when was code listing 3 due? I did it, took care of it, check. I can check it off. Code listing 4, check, check. This is just a way for you to keep track if you want. And I'd say maybe 25 to 30% of students use this, but they can keep track of their own as you go through the semester. Another thing for chapter 3 you'll have to do is take the quiz. And then here's some other things that are available. At the end of each chapter, you have review questions. here are the answers for the chapter 3 review questions from the 7th edition. I get folks that say, well, I'm using the 6th edition and the answers are wrong. I know, because this is from the 7th edition. So I don't get, yeah, okay. And then I also have some previous classroom classes like you folks are. I'll say, okay, right now I'd like you to write a program real quick to do blah, 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 blah. So I've collected some over the last couple of years and I've loaded them inside of this. So if you wanted to go to look at extra code different from the book, you could go here as well. Okay, but all that stuff comes in under this checklist. And again, if you click on it, you're going to have a little different view than I do. But and we're going to talk about this terms and acronyms in a minute. At the bottom of this page, there's PowerPoints for each chapter. Some folks don't really know how to study for a test. And I've had students tell me they watch the PowerPoints the night before. They go through and see, yep, I know this, and oh, I don't know that. And it's a good way to help review for the test. Your best friend right here, Dropbox. In the Dropbox, you're going to see a list of all of your assignments. You're going to see a list of, well, you won't see them all until the assignments become available. Like I think if you looked right now, assignment 1.2 may be available. Not sure if 1.3 is, but it might be. But I can see them all from my end. So when you go into Dropbox, you're going to see your assignments. The other thing on Dropbox is your code listings. So your first code listing should be available because I opened all of those up today so you can go. And your first code listing, again, your view is going to be a little bit different than mine. You're going to type in code listings from chapter 2, all of these. And then you're going to go into your version and upload it. Is somebody on D2L? Is anybody in, or is everybody watching my screen?
I'm in it right now.
Okay, I'm gonna, do I still have, yeah, share your screen, will you, Chad?
Let me up here.
I'm gonna see what your version of D2L looks like.
Anywhere in particular you want me to run to?
Go to Dropbox.
Okay. I'm just running a little slow right now.
All right.
There we go.
All right, so yeah, you can see that assignment 1.2 is blue and it's available. So if you click on that, the assignment 1.2, you click and here's the student view, which is again, what you're gonna see, not what I was showing you.
Come on.
And if you scroll down, you see start date, end date. Okay, right there. When you don't do this, Chad, but when you click on assignment 1.2, it'll tell you what you need to do for that assignment. Okay, right below it, it says submit assignments. Scroll down just a tiny bit and you're going to see add a file. So whenever you're ready, so in the case of the chapter 2 code listings I was just showing you, you'll click add a file like 8 times. So that you can add all 8 of the .java files, not .class, .java files. So you can add all those files and upload them all at once. And then of course you would hit submit to submit them. Okay, get out of there once, cancel. Okay, I'll go back and share mine again. Thanks, Chad.
Yep.
Quizzes. Again, tell me if your screen's lagging and I'm going too fast. Don't be afraid to say anything. Quizzes is where you're going to see the quizzes for all of the chapters except chapter 9. There's no quiz for chapter 9. We only cover 2 sections and we do it in a week. But you'll see all of your quizzes. And this is also where you're going to go to take your test. Okay, you can see I have them set up, but I already have them hidden so you can't see them from my end. So like I said, on test day, you will sign in just like you did. I'll have the password available, and you'll be able to just take the test. When you're done, you're done. You can sign out. You're done for the day. You will only see a partial grade. And you'll be going like, oh no, I got a 9 out of 100. No, I still have to go in and grade all the free response and most of it by hand. So don't panic when you see that early grade. Class list, you may be saying, hey, that one guy, what the heck was his name? And you come in and you can see everybody's picture who, well, you can see Harsh's picture and Kyle's picture. That's about it. Nobody else put pictures in. I know some classes, they require that, but I'm not going to require it to do. And then finally, you have one more drop-down menu that you'll use to find your grades. Okay, you can click in there and you can see what all of your grades are. Questions? So far, so good? Uh-oh. Hang on, I don't want to do that. I can't minimize. I wanted to go and, let me do this once. I want to go pull up JGrasp. Well, where are you, JGrasp? Where the heck's my JGrasp? I don't have it. I do have it because I use it all the time. I don't have a shortcut for it. So give me 1 second here. Somebody tell me a story. Nobody has stories?
I work at a prison, so I could tell you a lot of them. They're not exactly very appropriate.
Okay, we don't want to hear your story. All right, I'm going to share my screen again. What do you mean the window I'm selecting is invalid? Let's try this window. Screen sharing has failed. Goodness gracious. Let's try this one more time. Screen share, JGrasp. There we go. Cool, you see it? So this is an IDE, an integrated development environment. And when you download JGrasp and you get it to work, this is what you're going to see. Okay? And there's a lot of bells and whistles here. You don't need to know a lot of them, but I'll show you some. And I don't know why some of my stuff is missing, but you're going to come in and do File, New, Java. And now we have what you need to start typing your first Java program. So as you go through, this is where you're going to be typing in your programs, okay? That's one thing you need to know. Second thing you need to know is File, Save. What's a shortcut for File, Save? Control S. What's the other thing for, yeah, it says Control S. Does anybody know the other hotkey up under the function keys to save? Is it F5? That's old school. That's old school. But anyhow, you'll save your program, and when you save it, it's going to have a .java extension. Okay? Now, all that is a bunch of source code. You need to turn it into what's called bytecode by compiling it. So you can come up and you can search through and where's compile? I know where it is, but there's a shortcut for you right here. This green button will compile your code. So if you just click compile, I didn't save it first, it's going to go through and compile, and any errors you might have are going to show up down in this console window on the bottom. All right. So obviously I just have gibberish there. Nothing's going to happen. I didn't save it. But this is where, so this is called the console window. It'll tell you, did it compile correctly or do you have errors? If it compiled correctly, then you're going to come up to this running man and click and run. And again, we didn't save it, so it's not going to, and then it'll be, hey, great, your program ran, and everybody would be good. So to start, a couple of things you need up under the file, as always, you want new Java, you want your close, you want your save and your save as. They're the big ones. Over here, you want your compile, which is that green button. You want your run, which is this red button. Again, this is where you're going to be typing your code. This box down here is called the console, which is where your error messages come up if you have any. But that's what JGrasp looks like. Showing you is what it is. Once you actually get it uploaded and you're ready to roll and you start typing your code listings in, you'll get what's going on. But I just wanted to give you a brief introduction in there. Good, good, and good. All right, I'm going to share my screen one more time because I have to get out and get back in. And I'm going to go back to everybody see it? One of the things that I want you to do as well to get ready for Wednesday is to come down, and here's a sheet called Terms and Acronyms. And somebody asked me for this once to try to help keep track of some of the things that I talk about and they can make notes on. Well, for the first test, tests 1 through 3, there's is Windows opening for you? Do you see Word on your screen?
Not yet. It looks like it's still loading.
Okay. Now can you see what's on my screen?
All I see right now is still the D2L.
All right, let me go back, stop share. You'd think by now I'd know better, and start share. So this is what the terms and acronym sheet looks like, okay? This is for you to keep track of things that we may not necessarily cover in the book, especially with this list of terms and acronyms, but things I think you think should be important. So for chapter 1, I want you to go through and come up with fill in all of this stuff as you can. Chapter 2, I will talk about all of these in class, so you can make notes if you want. So this is something that people keep, they print out, maybe they have available, but it's a way to help take notes. And as you can see, I have stuff for all the chapters. Again, another way to study for the test is come through here. I will tell you that some of the stuff on here is definitely on the first chapter. For example, CPU. What's CPU?
Processing unit.
Yeah. Yeah, I just gave you, I can't spell. I just gave you 2 points on the first test. For those of you that don't remember this. Got it? What's CRT?
Cathode ray tube.
Yeah. So this is another thing I'd like you to do between now and Wednesday or now and next Monday, but I'm going to start asking you questions about this, and we'll talk quite a bit about this between now and the first test. Another question that's going to be on the test, and actually I should have, everybody sees byte, correct? What comes before a byte? Bit. What's a bit? So on the test, you're going to put 0 or 1 because that's what it is. It's a light bulb. It's a 0 or a 1. Another thing is it stands for a binary, which is the 0 or 1 ordeal, binary digit. So I just gave you the first 4 points on the first test. What is a bit? It's a 0 or a 1. Now, a lot of folks are, what did I do? We still good?
Yeah, I think
A lot of folks, you can say, hey, I want to buy a computer, and they're going, well, I need a terabyte hard drive. And if I said to you, what is a terabyte? One of you would say it's, maybe one of you would say, anybody? Bueller?
A lot of gigabytes.
A lot of, yeah. So, you know, this part right here, it's breaking it down to, let's go all the way to the beginning. A bit is a 0 or 1, which is called a binary digit. What's a byte?
8 bits.
8 bits. Yep, 8 bits, exactly. Now, again, here's your binary is a 0 or 1. That's a power of 2. So 8 is 2 to the 3rd power. Okay? So 8 bits is 1 byte. Now, let's see how crazy we can get. Working our way up in memory. So, you know, I can go back to memory of, yeah, we only had 512. What's so big about 512? Again, it's a power of 2. You know, we only had 512 kilobytes, and we didn't know what we were going to do with all that memory. And now you folks laugh, but that was back in early 80s when I was first starting out with my punch cards and the whole 9 yards. So anybody, what's a kilobyte? Somebody give me the wrong answer.
100 bytes.
No, what's a kilo? Don't say drugs. A kilo.
It's 1,000.
1,000, right?
What
But
is
in,
1024?
yeah, in the computer world, it's going to be 1024 bytes. So why 1024? Well, that's 2 to the 10th power. So right here, this is my 1024. So a kilobyte is 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128, 256, 512, 1,024. It's really close to 1,000. So it's been given the name a kilobyte. So that's going to be a test question. If you put 1,000 down, you get it wrong, but it's 1,024. Now, the computer world just keeps going on with this. What is a megabyte? It's not one of the Power Rangers. 1,024 kilobytes, KB. What's a gigabyte? 1,024 megabytes. What's after a gigabyte?
Terabyte.
Yeah, terabyte. And most of you are familiar with that. That's 1,024 gigabytes. Anybody know what's after terabyte?
Petabyte.
Petabyte. Yeah. I can remember having conversations with students way back when about, we heard there's this thing called a gigabyte coming out. And then we heard the government is using terabytes of memory. And now it's petabyte. And actually, if you go and Google it, I think it's a zettabyte, and they have names for increasing this 10 to the 24th power. So here's a question for my math experts. How many light bulbs, because this goes back to this 0 or 1, a computer had light bulbs in it kind of thought process. It was either on or off. By the way, 0 is what? On or off?
Off.
Off. 1 is on. Okay. And a lot of times you'll see that, oh, watch this. I can do cool stuff. I want to come over and where's it at? Come on, give it to me. Annotate. There it is. How many of you have seen this? Oh, that's a perfect 0, right? That right there. Have you seen that? What is that? That's an on-off button. It's a 0 or a 1. You may be able to look at your computer right now and see it. Some of them look a little more like this. Something like that. Yeah, I like that one better. It's a 0 or a 1. Okay. You'd be surprised. You start looking now that I brought this up, you're going to see this 0 or a 1, on or an off. What's this? Anybody know what that is?
Harry Potter.
Absolutely. That's the Elder Wand, the Cloak of Invisibility, and the last one was the, anybody? Bueller? Elder Wand.
Wand, the stone, and the cape.
The stone, right. The stone's included in there. All right, so I want to stop with this annotating. That was just way too much fun. So yeah, 2 to the 10th is important. If I said a petabyte, 1 petabyte, how many bits would that be? How many light bulbs would we have for a petabyte? Petabyte. 2 to the 10th, 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 2 to the 3rd. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2 to the 53rd power light bulbs. You can ask your phone, what is 2 to the 53rd power? Might not, yeah, I'm going to ask. What is 2 to the 53rd power? Not going to tell me.
2 raised to the 53rd power is 90071992547409992.
That's a lot of light bulbs. Agreed? Somebody say yes, please.
Yep.
I need you folks to talk. 3 types of programming errors that you're going to come across. You know, first one is a syntax error. If you get ready to type in, a lot of our words are reserved by Java, and one is called public. If you type in public without the C and you expect your program to work, it's not going to work because that's a typing error. That's a syntax error. If you have something where you say, oh, you want to find the sum of A, B, and C, and you put in your code A plus B minus C, is it going to work? Well, the program's going to work because the computer doesn't know any better, but your logic is wrong. Okay, so that's called a logic error. Finally, the third time is, what happens if I say 12 divided by 0 in your math world?
Yeah.
It's going to die. It's going to crash, you know. Well, that's called a runtime error. You know, you're going to be doing something and you're going to say, hey, enter a numerator. Hey, enter a denominator. And some smart aleck is going to put 0 for a denominator. It's going to crash your program. That's called a runtime error. Okay, so we covered a bunch of this. I'd like to see you fill in the rest of this chart. This one's on the test. American Standard Code for Information Interchange. How about that? That's going to be on the test. We're going to talk later about the Ascii chart. Not so many years ago, every ComSci book, the Ascii chart was Appendix A. It basically says every character has a number associated with it. Little p has a number associated with it. Capital P is a character, has a number associated with it. The plus sign, you know, you can get that off your keyboard. It's a character. It has a number associated with it. So, any of these other ones you know off the top of your head? What about Wysiwyg?
What you see is what you get.
Yeah, good. Good. Yeah, bit, we already said bit. That's binary digit. It was relevant to put it down there. FIFO,
And first out.
first in, first out. And LIFO is last in, first out. You know, we'll talk about that in a, you know, grocery store setting, and then eventually you'll use it in some of your code. There's HDMI. Thank goodness for HDMI, right? Where would we be without that? So, all right. Disappointing, we're still missing 10, and it could be a screw up. I don't know if the school did it or where it came in, but I'm going to post this, and then I'll put a link on our D2L page in case you want to go back and look over this. And I'm also going to share it with my online class. So what do I need you to do before Wednesday? Get JGrasp working. If it doesn't, email me, or put it on the discussion board, that kind of deal. Once JGrasp is working, start typing in those code listings, because the Chapter 2 code listings are due real soon. And also work on the terms and acronyms list. Questions? I'm going to stop the recording as soon as I figure out how to